Hi everyone, this is part 3 and I need to put this at the start because you might be like, what's this? Well, it should say part 3 in the title. Part 1 won't say part 1 but part 2 will. But if you've not watched part 1 and part 2, you might want to watch it to catch up on what I'm talking about. I mean, you might be able to read between the lines. I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to say at this point, so I don't know why I'm saying that, but you might be able to work it out, you might not. If you're new here, my name's Melanie. I do a variety of videos. You're not going to see me all in this video. I'm just chatting about not what's going on, but I'm finishing off a story. Also, at the moment, I am not editing videos for the foreseeable future. I'm just filming, so whatever you see in a video is basically the entirety of what I've said. So if you hear anything outside, dogs barking, children screaming and shouting, because I do live on a street where all the children are so unbelievably naughty and the parents don't care what they're up to. But if you go any other streets around here, totally different. Or if you hear fireworks, I mean, I don't think you're going to hear fireworks, but then again, who knows what's going to happen. It's obviously not going to be edited out, and I'll probably ramble in the video, and it might take 5 hours to get to the end of the story, because we're on part 3 for a reason. So in the last part, I said, I basically went to bed, and, I do wish I'd seen the rest of the film, even though I've probably seen it about 20 times. It obviously shows that I do like it, because I did want to watch it. So I fell asleep, and at some point, do you know when you wake up, you're more asleep than awake, but something's woken you up, and you're half and half, or maybe more asleep than awake, but you're aware. So I woke up, and I must have kept swallowing, and I could feel, it felt like I had a much more sore throat. Like I said, I've had a little bit of a sore throat since probably Saturday, and that's the first time I can think that I remember having it. And then Sunday night it got a little bit more prominent, or maybe on Monday night. I think it was Monday night. Again, I didn't think anything of it. So I kept swallowing, and I could feel my throat. Do you know, obviously when you swallow you feel something, but I could feel something. But like I said, I was half awake, half asleep. I just didn't know. And eventually I woke up. I think I'd swallowed quite a few times, but I think I drifted off. Now I can't tell you how long I drifted off for, because I don't have an internal alarm that tells me. But I woke up, and I was like, God, do you know when you're ill and you feel like you've not slept for a week? I had that feeling. Although I have felt more tired. So again, I'm not going to complain at this moment in time about the tiredness that I did feel. And I was like, oh God, is my throat sore? And I'd woken up because I needed a wee, basically. I had a wee. And I was like, I'll just have some water. And I think I had about 6 mouthfuls of water, because sometimes when your throat gets a bit dry, it can feel like it's sore, but it's just really, really dry. I thought maybe I'm just extremely thirsty. So I had 6 mouthfuls of water, and I think it was about 1 hour and 20 before my alarm went off, and that's why I didn't drink a lot of water, because I didn't want my bladder to get full and wake up. So I got back in bed, and I think it took me 10 minutes to get back to sleep. And next thing I know, my alarm's going off. And I was like, oh God, I don't feel great. But again, I have felt much, much worse. So again, I'm not complaining. And I could tell my throat was sore. But at the back of my mind, I was like, maybe I'll be alright after a couple of drinks. Maybe it's just a bit dried out. I mean, that's a positive way of looking at it. So I was a bit positive about it. Even though I'm very susceptible to viral infections, especially tonsillitis and things like that, I do catch things on my throat much quicker than any other thing. And sometimes I'll end up with tonsillitis or a severely sore throat from getting something else. And sometimes I get a mild dose of tonsillitis at the start of a heavy cold or flu, which is very random, but yeah. So I was like, oh God, I really could do with some more sleep. Now, the dog eventually got on the bed and I stroked her for 5-6 minutes, and then she left the room, and I'd already decided at that point I was going to try and have 20 to 30 minutes of sleep because I needed it. And I know that's not a lot, but I have things that I have to do and generally do in the morning. So I can't go back to bed for a couple of hours as much as I'd like to go back to bed for a couple of hours. Ever since I've got this husky, especially, and the amount of attention and time she needs, like going back to bed for a couple of hours hasn't only ever happened a couple of times, and it was at the start of the year when I was severely ill. In fact, I got ill between Christmas and New Year. No, was it Christmas and New Year or was it the start of January? I can't remember. I think it was the start of January. And I had to go to an out and hours health centre thing and like get medication, and I was really, really ill. And there was a couple of days on like the Monday and Tuesday or whatever it was where my dad took the dog with him until about 11 or something, so I could have a couple of hours extra sleep because she's hard work, and I couldn't even walk her for several days. He had to double walk her. Anyway, set my alarm. I think I set my alarm for half an hour later, or by the time I laid back down it was half an hour later, and I must have been like trying to get comfortable for over 5 minutes and couldn't get to sleep. And I was like, do you know what, I'm not going to get to sleep, I'm just going to have to sit up. And that's the last thing I remembered. And then my alarm went off again and I literally leaped out of bed because I know I've got to go and get stuff done. So I literally leaped out of bloody bed. My sore throat is like, it has gotten worse as the day's gone on. As much as I'd like to not admit that and just say, oh, it's not got any worse, it definitely has. But when I woke up and came down, like the first thing I did was paracetamol, because that's the best thing for, I mean, a much stronger one would be better, but paracetamol is the best thing for sore throats. And I took my main medication and stuff. But it's all to one side. I feel like I have a bit of a mild dose of tonsillitis just from how I feel. Now, if you've never had tonsillitis before, I hope you never get it. You can get it. Oh, do you know what? I hope if you do ever get it, which I hope you don't, I hope you never get the worst dose of it, because I once had it so bad I should have had my tonsils out, but I just pretended I was okay when I wasn't. Like, I was literally drooling, and that's when you know it's so bad, because if you get to the point where literally you can't hold saliva and you're just drooling, or you're constantly having to get up and spit it out, that's when it's so severe they would typically take them out. But I've had really horrific tonsillitis, but this isn't like horrific tonsillitis, it's like mild to maybe medium at a push, like it's getting towards medium. But even mild tonsillitis is no joke. It is on my left side, and like if you've got tonsillitis you get flu-like symptoms. Like when I woke up this morning, my calves were like absolutely so painful. Like, do you know, like when you get a flu and like your calves are just so sore and you've not done anything but you feel like you might have done a marathon in your sleep? That's how it feels. And then you get flu-like symptoms, like you get feverish, you get a headache, you get quite thirsty, you just feel very fluey. And there's different levels of like how ill you can feel with it as well. Like, the flu-like symptoms, you could feel absolutely horrific with it. And I don't feel great. Like, and as I said, it is getting worse as the day goes on. But I don't want it to get any worse than what it is. It's like now I'm cold, but I feel hot. But like I've got goosebumps. But I'll tell you what, if I put the heating on, probably once it gets warm, I'll be way too hot and I'll have to turn it off, but then I'll be sat here ages way too hot. But I've had to try and make the most of it today, and I've not really crossed much. I haven't crossed anything off my to-do list, but I have got stuff done that's not on the to-do list. But my to-do list would be manageable if I wasn't feeling this unwell. Like, I'm still going to try and get stuff done. I've walked the dog. Do you know what, this morning, my dad kindly picked me some strepsils up. Now, I did ask for blackcurrant ones because I know the flavour doesn't make any difference, but, you know, sometimes things taste better if they're blackcurrant flavoured or strawberry, but I didn't ask for strawberry. I don't know what flavour they are, and I don't actually hate them. It's the blue coloured ones. Also, I do have a bit of a cough, which again is a tonsillitis sore throat symptom, and I've had that cough since Saturday, so obviously this has been brewing since Saturday. And also I'm getting a stuffy blocked nose as the day goes on, which I didn't have this morning. So, when I first decided, I was like, do you know what, I need to carry on and do as much, well, not as much as I can, just do what I can. But it's always important to try and walk the dog, even if I feel like death. And I don't feel like death, but this throat is killing me. And again, it's not the most painful throat I've ever had. So, you know, I'm not complaining. But I did think I was going to have to split her walks into 3 half-an-hour ones, or if it was really bad, the health, 2 half-an-hour ones or 3 20-minute ones. As long as I give her at least an hour, that was the main goal. She's had an hour and a half in 2 walks. Actually, she's had slightly over an hour and a half. I think the first walk was like an hour and 9 or something like that. And the second walk was about half an hour, I believe. 33 minutes according to the app. Which obviously is good. And then like an hour 6 or 7. So, and do you know what? It was more than I thought I was going to do. But, like, on the first walk, probably when we were on our way back, probably the last 15 minutes became a lot harder. Not impossible. I've had much more difficult walks when I've been a lot more unwell, but I could tell, like, I was like, oh. And I had thought, like, I'm going to try and take her out again. Now, due to other people's control over me, this day is quite restricted of when I can come and go. So basically, when I came home, I had about 25 minutes to have some lunch and get back out and be able to give her, well, I planned 20 minutes. She'd obviously decided she was going to do over half an hour. Because I let her dictate certain walks, I let her dictate a lot of walks really, but there's a lot of walks where I let her lead me, and she always brings me back home, like anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes. But I wanted a 20-minute walk. So I didn't even get to finish my lunch because time was ticking on, and I needed to get out and get back. You want to go out for the 800th time, don't you? You want me to get my body up? Oh, God. So you can go out? Yeah, no. You've only just come in 20 minutes ago. I wish I had an electric door, a revolving door, or maybe not a dog flap, because she probably would never use it because she's such a dramatic dog. Sometimes she'll go to the door, and even if it's open and she can push it open, she refuses to and stands there and waits for me to go and do it for her. But when we went out the second time, I felt it. I was like, oh God, I can't believe I'm dragging myself round. Like, the first 5 minutes wasn't bad, but when we're like 10-15 minutes into it, I'm like, why am I doing this? Obviously I'm doing it for her, but I was like, yeah, maybe she needs this walk, but I definitely don't. And that's why, like I said, it was a 20-minute walk, but it was like 33 minutes. So, because I let her dictate which way we go. Like, she has a couple of favourite streets we always end up on, no matter which way we go. But like I said, she always leads me back home, so, you know, she does what she wants to do. But I was glad to get home. I've pretty much, well, I've not sat here the entire time because I've been in the kitchen, I've got drinks, I've got food, like, but I do need to do a couple of things. But now we've got a 3-part video or story time. My throat is a little bit worse than it was. The pain's like quite bad. I could feel it a lot on that second walk. I am getting a blocked stuffy nose. Like I said, you do get very fluid with tonsillitis. I can talk, it's not too painful to talk, even though it is pain, like I can feel the pain when I'm talking. But I've had tonsillitis where it's so bad that talking's just absolutely horrific because it's just so painful. In fact, I've had tonsillitis where I physically can't talk because it's just, like, I just can't get words out. And sometimes having tonsillitis alters my voice, which I don't think it has done. But I am getting bunged up, my headache's a bit more prominent. I feel warm but I'm cold. But like I said, if I put the heating on, I'll be too hot. But if I put a jumper on, I'll probably be too hot, or I might not even be warm enough. Like, I can't win with it. I am achy. I feel like it is getting worse. Before I started filming the first video, I just finished chamomile and honey tea. It's chamomile with some honey in it. I'm drinking water with squash in it now. I think I'm going to have another hot drink. And I'm writing down what I'm drinking as well, because I've got a habit of not drinking enough when I'm ill. But I want to get rid of whatever this is as quickly as possible. I don't want to be ill. I want to get through my list. I mean, my list isn't even big, but I don't think there's probably a couple of things I can cross off it. And that's why when I'm ill, I don't write much on my to-do list, so then I can't get frustrated with being ill. Because it's easy to get frustrated when you're ill and you just got this list and you're just like, I can't. I really need to blow my nose as well. So yeah, on top of everything else, I get sick. I don't have time to get sick, I've got things to do. And hopefully I don't get any worse. If I feel much worse tomorrow, I'll probably try and get some medical help. Whether or not they'll give me anything, I don't know. But, and also my blood pressure isn't even up. My blood pressure is always lower than average, and it's always been like that. And it does confuse doctors when I get sick and my blood pressure is only slightly up. And if it's not like a regular doctor, they do get confused. But I always say to them, my blood pressure is always lower than average. So if it's showing a normal reading or a higher level of normal, that'll be why. So if I do show a high blood pressure reading, it definitely shows there's a serious issue. But it's meant to be 120 over 80, and mine's normally something like 105 over 60 something. Now, I did my blood pressure a couple of hours ago and it was 109 over 76. As you can see, that's below average, but it's high for me. I mean, it's not high for me, but yeah, my blood pressure's not massively high. So it's some kind of viral thing, or it could be bacterial, like, you know, depending on if it's viral or bacterial, it depends on what the doctor will give you, if anything. So, but if my throat's much worse tomorrow, 100%, I will try and seek medical treatment, because I can't cope with when the throat is so bad that I can't eat or drink, or I'm managing bits of liquid, but it feels like my throat's being ripped out. That ain't a good feeling. But I am feeling more unwell as the day goes on. And before anyone says it's because you walk the dog, I don't think that's going to make my throat worse. Yeah, it might tire me out or my body out, but it's not going to make my throat worse. Like, it's not like I've been outside screaming. And if tomorrow I feel this ill or feel worse, if I'm able to walk the dog, I'll walk her. Yeah, I might not be able to walk her the length I did today, but it's very important she gets her walks, because she will act up and she'll make this illness worse for me if she's got all the extra energy. So I will do what I can. And I do need to try and have an earlier night. Problem is, when you get sick, you can't always sleep, but I will try and go to bed earlier. I'm still disappointed I couldn't watch Taken 2, because it's all I thought about. But I hope everyone else is doing okay. And that so concludes my long story time. I mean, you probably won't want to watch any of the story times of mine, because I just talk forever, and yeah, better than doing anything else today. My hands have got really cold. Maybe I should put the heater on. I don't know what to do, but if you've never had tonsillitis, you wouldn't want it. And also, if you've had tonsillitis and you come in contact with someone who's got it, it is a contagious disease if you've had it. Otherwise, it's not contagious. Isn't that weird? Because I always thought it's not contagious, but I got told by a doctor that if you've had it and you come in contact with someone who's got it, it is contagious. But it's not like a massively contagious, like it's not easy to catch. But if you've never had tonsillitis, what the hell is tonsillitis? If you've never had tonsillitis, if you came in contact with me, you probably wouldn't catch it. But I'm going to go because I desperately need to go with those. But if you're new to my channel or you watch my videos but you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to press the notification button to get an alert when I upload. I hope you're all well. I hope you all have an amazing day, and thank you so much for watching.